A large portion of the Jewish nation has returned to its homeland, but the heart, soul, and mind of much of the Jewish nation are still in exile mode. This state of affairs must and will inevitably change. This is Torah Nation TV from Jerusalem, and we are speaking with the head of Machon Shilo, Rabbi David Bar-Hayim. Shalom, Rabbi Bar-Hayim.
Shalom.
For the purpose of Leil HaSeder and Kiddush throughout the year, how much is a revi'it of wine?
Revi'it, the measure known as a revi'it, is mentioned by Chazal very frequently, and in the Talmud Yerushalmi, the first halacha of the 10th chapter of Masechet Pesachim, it states as follows. The Yerushalmi asks, Kama hu shiuro shel lechos, how much is the volume of the cup required? Rabbi Yosef b'shem Rabbi Yehuda bar Pazi, Rabbi Yosef b'Rabbi Bun b'shem Shemuel, esba'ayim al esba'ayim, 2 thumb breadths by 2 thumb breadths, al rum, that is to say width and length of a vessel. If you were to imagine a vessel that was 2 thumb breadths in length and in width, al rum esba umahsa ushlish esba, and in height 1.8 approximately thumb breadths, that volume is a revi'it. So says the Gemara here, the Talmud Yerushalmi, and this also appears in the Talmud Bavli, and this is quoted by the Rambam and other Rishonim in many places. The Rambam explains that he himself measured precisely this amount, and he describes the amount, the volume, in terms of the dirhem. The dirhem was a coin that was common in the Rambam's time in Egypt, and he says that if you take a vessel of water that is full of water up to the brim, and you place into that vessel a certain number of these coins called the dirhem, the water displaced by those coins is the equal of a revi'it. And the Rambam gives us that measurement precisely. And based on that measurement, Rabbi Chaim Na'eh reached the conclusion that a revi'it is 86 cc. He reached this conclusion by taking a coin known by the same name, dirhem, in the time of the Ottoman Empire, the Turkish coin known as a dirhem, and this he used to reproduce the Rambam's experiment and measurement, and this was the result he arrived at. It's also known that the Hazon Ish, who thought that the the volume of a revi'it was much greater, said to Rabbi Chaim Na'eh, wrote to him, how do you know that the coins, the dirhem that you are using, are the same size as those of the Rambam? Perhaps in the time of the Rambam, the dirhem was larger, and therefore your measurement is incorrect. And this, in theory, is a reasonable question. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is quite the reverse. We have today both, of course, the Ottoman dirhem, which is much closer to our own time, but we also have tens and hundreds of the coin known as the dirhem from the Rambam's time and from the Rambam's place in Egypt in the 12th century. And in fact, the opposite is true. The dirhem that was common in the time of the Rambam was a little bit smaller than the dirhem in the time of the Ottoman Empire. And therefore, the measurement of 86 centimeters, of 86 cc, is actually too large. The precise amount is 77, 78 cc, which I'm rounding up to 80 to make things nice and simple. And therefore, the amount of the known as a revi'it, the volume, which is what we're talking about, not a weight, but a volume. The volume known as a revi'it is approximately 80 cc, and that already is a little bit larger than the true amount. And that is the equivalent of a little bit more than 1/2 of a standard plastic disposable cup, the type of disposable cup that we find at water fountains, water coolers, and the like, which contain 180 cc. And therefore, 80 cc is the amount of a revi'it.
One is required to eat a kazayith of Matzah. How much is a kazayith?
As we have discussed a number of times, the kazayith, the true measurement of a kazayith, which is the volume of a standard olive here in Eretz Yisrael, as it was both in those days and today, is in fact 3 cc, which is a very small amount. 3 cc in terms of a standard machine matzah is 1/9 of a standard machine matzah. In other words, if we take a standard machine matzah and we divide it into 3 sections along its width, along its breadth. That is to say, we break it into three long, narrow strips, so to speak, and then we take one of those three long strips and take 1/3 of that narrow strip. That is 1/9 of a machine matzah, and that is certainly, in fact, a little bit more than one kazayth. More than that, one does not have to eat. That is the requirement. One kazayth of matzah equals 1/9 of a standard machine matzah. In terms of another kind of matzah, handmade matzah, it's even less than that amount, because such matzah, hand-baked matzah or soft matzah, is a more dense product, and therefore the volume is greater, and the size of the piece required would be even smaller.
Thank you, Rabbi Bar-Hayim. We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. We would also like to suggest the following opportunity to our viewers. If you identify with Rabbi Bar-Hayim's message and would like to sponsor or dedicate a video interview with the rabbi in honor or memory of a loved one, if you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.